this is the situation at the end of round 4, beginning of round 5. And just a reminder, you're looking down here at the southern front, and this is the northern front. At the moment, the Poles are now on 1 victory point, and the Poles still hold 4 initiative advantage on the south, and on the northern front, the Russians have grabbed the initiative. So starting with the southern front, which has been the quieter front this round, both the Poles and the Russians have been consolidating, and after the reinforcement phase they've both managed to pump up their armies, so we're probably going to see some major battles coming up in the 5th round, but somewhat of a stalemate over there this round. Moving to the northern front, it's been all action with a powerful offensive by the Polish, driving right through and capturing Babarusk and inflicting some pain on the Russians.
Ran out of sting,
but
ran out of puff.
As Hamish is saying, who commands the northern front, the offensive ran out of puff and probably overextended itself a little bit when they moved in and took the village just past Babarusk, and found themselves pretty stretched out, and the Soviets have come back and grabbed the initiative there. So comments first from Patrick.
Yeah, so on the northern front, it's pretty disastrous, really. That attack on Babarusk seemed pretty decisive. I didn't expect to lose it, actually, so it came as a bit of a shock, and it just blew open the position completely. I guess sending reinforcements by rail from the southern front managed to stabilise the situation, and I guess the Poles had expended quite a lot of cards and resources, so it was difficult for them to push on, even though it looked completely dire. Still a very, very difficult position to be in, but there's there's a ray of hope, possibly. And yeah, as David was saying, the southern front has been almost completely quiet. Have we even had a single? Yes, we had one single battle, which was a decisive defeat to the Soviets in Kamenets.
And the Soviets tried to take it and were bloodily repulsed
with heavy artillery. And that was enough for the Soviets, I think. They decided that they'd sit on their positions for a while, and it seems like the Poles have done likewise. I wonder if we'll see some action there next round.
Bloody well hope so. The Poles in the northern front, they need a bit of relief.
So Hamish, your comments?
It's been a pretty interesting clash on the northern front, and yeah, I think the Russians thought it was all pretty much over, but the Poles did extend themselves and overextended themselves. So with this reinforcements here, that we know that they're at least 12 strong minimum, that's a game changer for the front. So those are huge forces. There's been a huge attrition rate that's occurred over here through the campaign. So that's a biggie.
Certainly Babarusk is under threat now. We know that's a very powerful force, and there's a potential attack from 3 different flanks there. So, and the Poles have lost the initiative there, so that will be very interesting to start with. But yeah, Hamish did say at one point, when that Soviet front did totally crumble, the Soviets were basically very close to throwing in the towels the whole length of the front.
They've got on the gin, not the vodka.
Okay, so that's the end of round 4, and we'll be back with round 5 once it's complete.
Yeah.